Hi everyone, it's Monday at the Mystical Magical Mansion. Welcome to this week's episode of My Kitchen is Getting Remodeled. So if this is the first time you've ever tuned into our channel, welcome. My name is Kim. My husband Ryan and I bought this beautiful old 1910 mansion here in Omaha, Nebraska just 1 year ago. And we are going through the house, renovating, restoring, and sharing all of our journey the whole way through. So thank you for being here. And for those of you who have been watching all along, thank you for staying with us. And things are just really rocking and rolling here. So last week we kind of gave you the before and a look at what was happening in the kitchen. And this week you're going to get a good look at all of the things that are happening, a little bit of the crew in action tearing up the kitchen, and just a look at how things are kind of flowing. So the kitchen is the heart of the home. I'm a baker, I'm a cook, I'm someone who loves to entertain, and this room is probably one of the most important spaces to me. So as we're going through and little decisions have to be made, you know, we're trying to do this really thoughtfully, but I want this kitchen to function really, really efficiently so that you can cook and clean and prep and all those things very, very, very easily. When we looked at this house a year ago, we were, I think, the number one. We fell in love with it, but when we, sat down to think about what it was that we didn't like about the house, this room was probably the biggest problem. And so part of it goes to the fact that a couple of years ago, our house out at the lake, before we lived here, I did a full kitchen remodel. We updated a house that had been built in 1976. And my friend Jason Miller down in Lincoln, he's a cabinet maker. He has Miller cabinets. If anybody needs cabinets built, he is such an artist. And I loved working with him, but we created this really magical space. And I had said to him every day, I want this to feel magical. I want all of the pieces to feel like old pieces of furniture, like sort of like they came from an old apothecary or like an old Butler's Pantry, but I wanted to feel magical. And we did create a space like that. But I think what I was really actually doing was sort of putting into the universe what my wishes were, because I think I sort of manifested that, because now I have this really beautiful old Butler's Pantry and we're creating a kitchen that I want to feel really magical as well. So anyway, it's happening. So the floors are up, the doors are out. I'll give you a good look. One of the things I was really concerned about was being able to preserve and save the wood floors if possible, but they're in really bad shape. And with having dogs and steps coming up the back and tons of salt to keep them from being slick, we have a year of functioning in the house, so to see how hard it would be on wood floors in here. So I'm just rethinking what kind of product we're going to put down. So stay tuned. Those decisions are yet to be made. But otherwise, really, we've just found some little trinkets and bits and pieces, which I'll show you, and kind of really made some good progress this week. We're working with a crew from Cornerstone Remodeling who are awesome. So let's just get to looking at what's going on. So just looking from the back door, kind of panning around, there were cabinets there before, which have all been removed. And as we come a little closer, you can see they've got some beadboard ready. They're going to be replacing the back sort of panels within the cupboard in the Butler's Pantry that had been removed to make that pass-through cabinet. So these are all drying. Stain is looking very pretty, so they'll be doing that tomorrow. These cabinets were removed and we put in insulation because behind this cupboard, there were like two big cupboards. There was absolutely just plaster and lath. So it was really very, very cold and drafty in this area. Okay, so then this is where the refrigerator was, this small wall. So there's cabinets. And then if you can see through, we've put in a new back door, that insulated door. But this wall that's framed in now, they discovered when we opened it up that the cabinets were just basically stuck to some drywall and there was no framing. So it was, required a whole new wall to be built there, which is okay. And then we've taken out that curved arched opening above the little pantry area, and that'll be squared off, and that's the same level as that door, so that just looks a little nicer, a little bigger. So you can kind of see from this view. One big surprise that we found was here in the entryway, the terracotta tile, which we have in the front porch and the front vestibule is in this area as well. It is really chipped up, really damaged, and we're probably just going to go over the top of it. This stuff is basically cement on top. And the other thing that we learned after living with terracotta tile for the past year is it's like the slickest surface in the world if it gets wet. So this was a neat surprise. I'm not sure what the decision is fully on this, but we're probably just going to tile over the top of it because it has been pretty damaged over the years. So then this is the back door. So there was that great big huge brown door. This is now the insulated door with a better seal, and we're putting everything around that to hopefully make this a little more weather tight this year so that this kitchen doesn't get so cold. And I'll be painting that, of course.
I'm willing to bet that might need to probably put something on top of this. So.
Yeah.
Are we live right now?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Catch the first look at the floor. Yeah, I didn't know there was leveler under there, so I didn't want to be the first person to pour leveler on the wood floor, but it's already there, so yeah, dang it. And this is that giant section of flooring I was telling you about that had been cut out and leveler put over it just because I'm sure it was very damaged or unlevel. And then this, this floor along here is in pretty bad shape as well. So we could take it all out and put all new hardwoods in, but I actually am going to go probably with a subway tile type look. So anyway, it's going to be great. And this cupboard has been removed, and they are going to be, again, putting that beadboard in that I showed you earlier that stained, so that'll replace what was taken out. We want to have it just be framed back in, and from the side of the Butler's Pantry, you would have no idea that ever happened. So we want to just sort of take that back to its original state. Along this wall will be, once that wall is closed up, there will be the sink, the dishwasher, the microwave is actually all going on that wall. So yeah, use your imaginations, you have to. Here's the big hole in the floor with some old kind of ductwork or something going on there. And the crew and my husband have been fishing things out of this cabinet all week. We started this little pile of just trinkets and bottle tops and caps and little things that have just sort of found their way out of the floor frame, the boards. There's an old Coca-Cola, there's an old water bottle. Got the hooks saved, an old swan. I think that's an advertisement for a shoe company, actually, this is. But just lots of old bottle tops. So things that were just down in the floor. So here's the other little treasure. Who didn't have those back in the day? Luden's cough drops. We had to have a note to have them at school, where I went to school. So here's another little fun discovery that was back behind one of the cabinets in the wall. We think this is from an old Hudson car or some sort of product or something that had to do with it, but I think that's pretty old too. So we've got the outside door framing being removed so we can put in the bigger door now. So here's a look at the door going in from the servants' entrance along the back side of the house. They have that framed in, and we're putting the new door in this morning. So here's a look at the entrance, the doorway at the servants' entrance along the back. They have that now framed in, and that new door is going in today, Monday. So that is the plan this morning. And as you can see, lots of pieces and parts and things around, and then again there's that servant's entrance and my dog again and the new door and that terracotta flooring. So this very big heavy old original exterior door, so this was a door that did lead to the outside when the house was built, will be moved to that spot, so it will be the exterior door again. So we're saving the door and using it again, but it does not provide a ton of insulation and protection from the cold, so We want to use it, but hopefully this other insulated door will give us a little more weatherproofing. We are making this kitchen setup work. We got a little rib action going on in the crock pot for dinner. So far so good. We've been doing fairly well with our little makeshift kitchen campsite here. And here's a look at the hallway going into the kitchen. Some of you may recognize this just from the stenciling on the walls, but this floor, the wood floor that they took up, sort of that floating floor, this floor is really, really dinged up. It doesn't look terrible at a glance, but it's covered with adhesive, and there's lots of my dog in the video. She has to make a little entrance every once in a while, but lots of really deep gouges and scratches and damage. So again, we had talked about maybe trying to save these, but they really are in pretty rough shape. So we'll probably be tiling over this as well. And then this is just the zipper that they've put up to help keep some of the dust and dirt from floating into the rest of the house, which we really greatly appreciate.
This is the Butler's pantry with the floors gone. As you can see, at some point, this was covered with a different type of linoleum that was probably stuck on there that was then removed, and then they put the other floor down. So that is the original wood floors from 1910. And we get to dust everything again. Jupiter. Yeah, that's Jupiter.
The moon is coming up. Friday porch party. Ryan is aligning with the planets.
Jupiter.
Jupiter, now we know.
Having one of his new brews.
And my monkey cigar.
And a monkey cigar. Actually, it's a cigar and a monkey extract.
That's the most.
We're getting to the last bits of blooms, but we still have tons and tons of bees and butterflies and lots of little nature moments happening. And we've got a bunch of mums coming up here, so we have those to look forward to. My lavender plants have really just all of a sudden taken a big old leap and grown, and I have my first little lavender blossoms this year. Look, there's some tiny little lavender there. Isn't that sweet? It's two different varieties, so obviously they're going to grow differently, but yeah, I'm really excited. I just noticed these today. And those delicate little blossoms. Really, the beds outside are holding up. They're actually doing really well. I think every plant we put in has lived so far out here. The hydrangeas weren't loving some of the heat this summer, but got some really pretty blooms. And I don't know about you guys, but we have a crazy amount of spiders right now. Just like a nutso amount of spiders. But anyway, not loving it, but they're hanging out. So I have to show you guys this tree that is in our front yard, and it was one of the most interesting things when we were looking at the house. We're like, what kind of tree is this? Because if you look, it's got fruit on it, but it looks like a strawberry tree. The plants actually look like little strawberries. It's called Acousa Dogwood, K-O-U-S-A. We had never heard of it before, but let me give you just a good look at it. So check out the fruit. They really do look like strawberries. So they're, let's see if I can get one just to give you some perspective here. So they're kind of a little bit soft, squishy, like almost like a very ripe strawberry. They're a little more round than that. So this is one of the fruit that's fallen on the ground from this Acousa tree. Or Acousa, I believe it is. Isn't that interesting? So that's where we are this week. I am super, super, super excited that progress is happening, work is happening. We could not say any nicer things about the crew that is working on our kitchen. They're from Cornerstone Remodeling, and I highly recommend them. We used them in our house at the lake when our basement flooded and we had to have everything gutted down to the studs. They were the crew that came in and built everything back up, and they were so lovely to work with and so stuck to timelines and good at communication, which is huge when you're doing a big project like that. So we had no question that we would reach out to them to do our kitchen project. So we're really enjoying working with them again. So we'll keep you posted as to what is happening through this coming week. Fall is upon us. I feel like every day we're getting a little closer to Halloween, and I'm super excited about Halloween because this neighborhood is a huge Halloween neighborhood. So lots of fun things to share and look forward to with that as well. So as always, my friends, even if your kitchen is torn apart and all you have is the ability to sit down and take a moment to feel luxurious or run a bubble bath or to have a cup of tea, whatever it is, I want you to do something for yourself to feel unapologetically fancy. We should not be keeping back all of our good silver, our dishes, our china, those things for special occasions. Use them every single day because you know what? We deserve the good stuff. So take good care. I will see you next week. And best wishes from the mystical, magical mansion.